Okay, so here we are. I don't even know where quite to start because overall, the most of the categories went to places that I want, but the ones or that I either predicted or wanted, but most of the ones who didn't went to the exact person or project that did not deserve it. Oh, yeah, this one's it's gonna be fun going through these. Because like I said, I'm just gonna go actually I'm gonna try to skip around to the ones I don't want to talk about as much because most of these it's like I can go through them and they're what I expected or what I would have wanted to win. So yeah, so we'll start going through these. The biggest thing is that the first thing to start with, as far as the not a surprise but very happy about, is Dune almost swept the technical categories, and it totally deserved it from a pure technical standpoint. That movie is impeccable. For instance, it took home, film editing and went to Dune. That totally made sense. A couple of these others I think could have easily gotten it as well, but like I personally, I know people don't like the chaotic nature of Don't Look Up, but I personally really did. I think it should have won, but Dune was great. Totally happy with that. Feature film, Drive My Car. Personally, I think it should have been Flea, but Drive My Car is very good, and that was what I was expecting to win, so I feel good about calling that one. Makeup and hairstyling, this is kind of what I expected. The Academy really likes a very particular type of makeup work, the ones that are much more transformational than necessarily just interesting. So that's why this one. It makes sense. I don't think it should have. I think that the makeup and hairstyling was, other than the cheeks that they gave to Andrew Garfield and Jessica Chastain, most of the rest of it was pretty expected. It wasn't that great. This definitely should have gone to Cruella or Dune, but it makes sense, and it was still impeccably done, so I'm not necessarily mad about it. I just feel like it should have gone somewhere else. Music, the score went to Dune. I was really expecting this to go to Encanto, but this is the one I wanted, so I'm happy about that. Original song, No Time to Die. I'm actually surprised about that. I feel like this really should have gone to Dos Oruguitas. Encanto just has the zeitgeist right now, so I'm really surprised it didn't go to that. But No Time to Die is a good song. I feel like it's just, my only thing is that it just feels like a worse rehash of Skyfall, but with a non-powerhouse singer. I like Billie Eilish, but it was kind of a weird song for her to do, but it totally worked. I still enjoy it. It just, I would have gone with something else. I'm going to skip that one for now. Production design went to Dune. Definitely deserves it. I was expecting maybe we'd get an upset on that, but it really did need to go to Dune. The production design in that is great. Short film, haven't seen them, so Windshield Wiper, definitely going to be looking that up soon. The Long Goodbye, also going to be looking at. I did not realize it was Riz Ahmed. That makes me want to see it more. Really love Riz Ahmed. Sound, Dune. This was the only one where it was like, no, Dune's going to win this. The sound in that movie is amazing. A lot of really great work. Special effects or visual effects went to Dune. Also called that. Makes sense. I'm going to skip that one for now. Original screenplay went to Belfast, which definitely happy that happened. Kenneth Branagh has been nominated over and over again, and he finally has an award for something, and he definitely deserved it. Belfast is wonderful. It is very well written. Definitely deserved it over the rest of these. I mean, as far as I haven't seen Worst Person in the World yet, but definitely deserved it over there. Like I said, I'll come back to that because I have opinions on the project that, International feature film went to Drive My Car. Film editing, Dune. Short subject, Queen of Basketball. Gonna look that up, but haven't seen it. Documentary, this I was a little surprised by. I really enjoyed Summer of Soul. I think it was a really cool subject. I don't feel like this documentary did anything really interesting or special. It was just, they just had the right subject matter. I don't think the documentary did anything new or interesting. In fact, a lot of it was literally just watching performances, which I am totally okay with. And it was really cool the way they, tied in everybody thinking about this thing that got completely overshadowed by another big event. But yeah, no, this really, really should have gone to Flea. I am so sad Flea did not get anything. It is fantastic and really worth everybody's time. Directing went to Jane Campion for Power of the Dog. Not mad about this one at all. I personally would have given it to Belfast or Drive My Car. I think that both of those were overall better directed, but Power of the Dog was amazing, so not mad about that one at all. Not what I would have called. Costume design went to Cruella, which I was really surprised and happy about. I feel like Dune still had the overall better costuming, but Cruella was just, it's a super fun movie, and the costuming in it is really interesting and really fun, and they came up with so many really cool ideas, really playing off of that, 60s punk aesthetic that, or mod and punk aesthetic that was really, really fun to watch. It was definitely made perfect sense for it, so couldn't be happier about Cruella winning. Cinematography went to Dune. Totally makes sense. That's the one area where I feel like Dune was at its weakest. The actual cinematography, I feel like the color correction needed some certain things to happen, and I feel like they shot things in a way that made the planet feel a lot more empty and unpopulated than it needed to be. But but still very pretty, very well done. A lot of cool choices. So definitely am happy that it's getting the praise. Any of the other ones honestly could have won. This is the one I would not have been disappointed if Dune hadn't got it, but I'm happy that it did. Animated feature film went to Encanto. Everyone knew it was going to happen. Like I said, I'm sad Flea didn't get it, but Encanto is a wonderful little movie. Whoop, dog's barking. Currently in California at my sister's house and dog sitting a little bit before I head back home tonight. So Encanto made sense. Any of the Mitchells vs. the Machines or Flea would have been really, really cool. But Encanto is a great little film telling a story from a very different perspective and telling a story with themes that aren't handled very often in anything, much less accessibly for kids. So I am totally happy with Encanto winning. It definitely was the choice. So I was ready for that, even if I think something else should have won. Gonna skip that one for now. Actress in a leading role, Jessica Chastain. I feel like she was the least deserving of this, other than being very manic, and she did do a full transformation on her character, but it just felt like she was doing an impression the whole time, not that she was Tammy Faye. But that's also hard because Tammy Faye is such a larger than life figure that anything less than that just feels forced and fake. So it's an okay choice. I personally think it should have gone to Nicole Kidman or Penelope Cruz. I think Kidman's the obvious choice and Penelope Cruz is the outside. But Jessica, it's fine. It was a good performance, but it's also, the Academy really is a sucker for prosthetics over actual acting. So not really surprised by that, but not a bad choice, just not who I would have chosen personally. Actor in a leading role, Will Smith, which is also crazy after the slap moment, which is just now, I think that's the only thing anybody's actually talking about, which is kind of annoying to me because of, I think there was some really, really sad upsets that I am truly baffled by in the actual choices, and I'll get to soon here, but Will Smith, I think, was a solid choice. His performance was very good. I think it was another example of choosing the transformative performance over the more nuanced performance. I do think he was very good. It's another one where it's like, I'm not mad about it. And Will Smith has been consistently doing great work for so long that it makes sense for him to finally get something. And this was a good one for him to win on. It's not as bad as Al Pacino winning for Scent of a Woman or anything like that. But no, it was a good gimme. I personally think Benedict Cumberbatch or Denzel Washington should have gotten it, but Will Smith was good. Not mad about it. Just it's like I feel like that that was a gimme. That was a gimme Oscar, not a I truly deserved this Oscar. Now we're gonna get into my true frustrations. Okay, starting with actor in a supporting role, Troy Kotsur for Coda. I think he was fine. I don't think he did anything particularly interesting for his character. I think he had a couple of moments that were really, really great, and then in general was just like, yeah, he's there. I'll get into it a little bit more on my overall feelings of Coda, but I don't want to be mad about him winning because it is cool to see somebody, from a different background get that kind of recognition, and I hope this leads to more roles that he can show a little bit more of what he can do, because he was very fun in this movie, but it's like not Oscar worthy, which is what I'll get into more later as well. But he was good, but he wasn't. Cody Smith-Fee was amazing, and Kieran Hines was just so wonderful in Belfast. Both of them should have easily won over Troy Kotsur. Yeah, it's just they just gave better performances. Like I said, I also actually preferred the brother's performance in this. I think he had fun with his character a little bit more than I think Troy did, although Troy is the obvious choice of those two. He did do a little bit more. It's just that brother's monologue near the end is great. Actress in a supporting role. This straight up made me angry. Once again, my biggest frustration with West Side Story, I really enjoyed it. I think it was very well directed, really well performed overall, and is definitely very, very enjoyable. Ariana DeBose is the worst part of it. And not necessarily that she was bad when she was playing her upbeat moments and her singing and dancing, and she's just taking the entire room on. She was very, very good. She really controlled the screen. But the moment she needed to do anything that required like dramatic nuance, she just was like, with a little bit of, a clenched jaw when she said stuff, but her eyes were completely dead the entire time. It didn't work. There were scenes where she needed to show more nuance and show some transformation, and she just didn't. I don't understand how she got nominated, much less won. Every other actress on this list gave a far better performance, outside of maybe Anjanou Ellis. Anjanou Ellis was good, but she is pretty much just playing a little girl. It was fine. She was good though. She's gonna win an Oscar some point. It's just a question of when and the right role coming along. But Ariana DeBose did not deserve this Oscar. And I don't think she's ever going to live up to it again unless she gets just the right part. I'm really hoping both her and Troy take this and really say, okay, now I'm going to crack down and really earn this Oscar. Okay. Going down, let's see, any of the other ones I missed. Directing Power of the Dog, film editing, Dune, international music, Dune, yeah, still really happy. I was really surprised by No Time to Die, but it is a very pretty song. Skip down past that one for now. Let's see. Is there anything that I missed? Okay. Yeah, we'll just talk about them at the same time. So, writing, adapted screenplay, and Best Picture. They both went to Coda. I cannot fathom how. It's like I got a message from my wife last night because she was following the winners as well, and I hadn't kept up quite as well as she had, and all of a sudden I just get a text going, "Did they see the other movies?" And I was like, "What?" And I looked it up, and Coda won. Coda is delightful. It is so much fun. Don't get me wrong, it is a very good movie that is made for TV. It has problems. There's a lot of stuff in that movie where plot happens just for the sake of plot happening, and none of it really necessarily adds to the overall story. Like which is why my thing with the adapted screenplay as well. Any of these other films for adapted screenplay should have won. It should have been Drive My Car. Dune was a solid adaptation. Lost Daughter was kind of a mess, and Power of the Dog was so good. Like, all three of those movies are spectacular, and this one, a great screenplays. And this one it has holes. Like they say, like it's they consistently set up conflicts that either go nowhere or just kind of resolve themselves and don't really add anything to the story. The brother dating the friend was like a thing for all of the first 15 minutes, and then it's just kind of, yeah, they're dating for the rest of the movie, and it really, we didn't need to spend any time on this. Or, we're going to start the fish thing, but we need your help starting the fish thing. How are we supposed to start the fish thing? And then they just are doing it, and it's crazy successful overnight with seemingly no effort on anyone's part. Other than the singing, which was overall good, I think that when it comes down to it, the lead actress is a very, very good singer, but especially with the audition, the singing she did for the audition would never have gotten into Berkeley. Also, the fact that this movie was jerking off Berkeley so much, like, are you going to Berkeley? I got to get into Berkeley. What about Berkeley? Well, you can't go to Berkeley. It got very repetitive and annoying. The conflict was consistently obvious, and a lot of it never really truly resolved. Like, her relationship with her mother is never actually, like, really resolved in this movie, other than mom just suddenly deciding to be supportive of her music career, but they never really have a conversation that really justifies how they were feeling. Even the one that they did have, like, she comes away with it basically seemingly the same way she was before. So it's not the best written movie. It wasn't the best acted movie. The cinematography was incredibly workman. It was very basic. It was a very, very fun movie. And all of this is to say, it sounds like I'm shitting on it. But if this were a Lifetime movie or just a movie of the week, it would have been an amazing one of those. But for it to win Best Picture over Belfast, over Drive My Car, over Dune, over Power of the Dog, all these movies that are nuanced, subtle, wonderfully made, impeccably well done, just feels weird. And I do not know what was going on behind the scenes to have this one win. Really did not deserve it. The only thing I can think of is that for whatever reason, people just didn't like Belfast as much, and Power of the Dog was on Netflix, and the Academy hates Netflix. They like Apple, apparently, but they hate Netflix. So, yeah, this was a really, really weird year, because most of the choices made sense and were like, okay, and I could get past it, but it's Coda winning anything is absolutely shocking. The only thing I can think of is Apple must have run just a ridiculous campaign after that started winning awards. So, yeah, overall, I'm happy with most of the choices. Once again, I'm happy to see Dune getting love. I feel like that's another one like The Lord of the Rings, where at the end, it's going to, once they finish the first story, if they get through the first book, that's when it's going to start winning awards, or the performance and directing and Best Picture type awards, instead of just the technical ones. But yeah, so the Oscars this year were a little weird. They did a lot of expected things and a few things that were so mind-boggling to me. I'm probably going to be thinking about this one for a long time. In the exact opposite way. It's really in the exact opposite way of last year's, where it was where Parasite won on a fluke. This one, Coda went, and I was so happy about that, because Parasite was the movie that deserved it. Which, if you haven't seen Parasite, see Parasite. After that movie came out, it won. It was like, yeah, it was nice to see not the obvious choice win, and for the one that deserved it. And this one, it was like, it's weird to see not the obvious choice win, because it didn't deserve it. So I just hope that, like I said, all these ones where it's like, I'm looking forward to be proven wrong by some of these actors and actresses and filmmakers in the future, as far as the ones that won who I don't think deserve it. But use that clout. Take those, keep working on your craft, and I want to see. I'm looking forward to the next movie that Ariana DeBose does, and the next movie that Troy Kotsur does, because I do like both of them as actors. I just feel like they weren't there yet, and it was cool to see Troy Kotsur win as a deaf person. Which is ironic, because now that movie has 2 Oscar winners in it that are both deaf, Marlee Matlin and Troy Kotsur. But this was not the movie. But this was also a really weird year. We came out of the pandemic, so there's a lot of stuff this year that would not have gotten nominated any other year because there just wasn't as much that came out that was really, truly great. A lot of the indie productions had to shut down because they couldn't afford to stay open. So it's one of those, it does kind of make sense, but yeah. So overall, I like, once again, just trying to wrap things up. I'm happy with most of the wins. Anything Dune won was great. Cruella winning costuming made me really happy. Power of the Dog for directing. That movie required a really steady hand, although I do think that pulling off Drive My Car was a little bit more interesting, but that was also a movie that wasn't as compelling visually, so I can see where they would choose Campion over that. Animated film, Encanto, song, No Time to Die, all those really good. Like, my biggest thing is I don't think Will Smith should have won a leading actor, but I'm cool with it. I don't think Jessica Chastain should have won, but I'm cool with it. Both of those people deserve Oscars, not necessarily for the projects they won for, but they deserve them. Ariana DeBose shouldn't have won. The fact that she was nominated and I forget what his name is, but the guy who played Riff wasn't nominated, and none of the other actors who quite frankly gave better performances were nominated is just absolutely insane to me. And Coda winning Best Picture is super disappointing. Flea not winning anything, super disappointing. But overall, it's like, yeah. And ultimately, it comes down to, while I like watching following the Oscars and seeing what wins just because I'm curious to see what's going to get honored, ultimately the Oscars are really meaningless. They rarely stand up to the test of time as to what people actually remember and think were the best movies of that era. But here we are. So that being said, my name is James and I have been arguing semantics. Looking forward to getting a real review up soon. Peace out, yo.
Like and subscribe.